Most women over 60 are being aged by their wardrobe right now, and the most frustrating part is that they chose every single piece in it deliberately, thoughtfully, and with the genuine intention of looking their best. Not because they made careless choices, because nobody told them that 3 specific things, 3 colors and styles that feel completely reasonable, completely appropriate, and in some cases even sophisticated, are working against them every single time they put them on. These are not the obvious mistakes. They are not the loud, dramatic fashion errors that everyone can spot immediately. They are the quiet ones. The ones that blend in so completely with what feels normal and expected for a woman at this stage of life that they become invisible habits rather than recognizable choices. And invisible habits are the most powerful aging force in any wardrobe, because you cannot fix what you cannot see clearly. Today we are making all 3 of them visible. We are naming them specifically, explaining exactly what each one does to the face and the silhouette of a woman over 60, and giving you the precise alternative to reach for instead. Not something more expensive. Not something more complicated. Something that simply works with your appearance rather than quietly working against it. The third combination on this list is the one I want you to pay particular attention to. It is a color and a style that are almost universally associated with being sensible, safe, and age-appropriate for women over 60. It is the recommendation that comes from well-meaning friends, from cautious stylists, from decades of fashion advice directed at older women. And it is one of the most consistently, powerfully aging combinations available in any wardrobe. The reason it ages is specific, explainable, and once you understand it, you will never unsee it. Stay until the very end, because these 3 changes applied starting today are going to change what you see in the mirror more significantly than almost anything else you could do to your wardrobe this year. Welcome back, beautiful. So glad you are here. And if you are completely new to this channel, welcome to Ageless Glow, where women over 60 discover how to look genuinely stunning without spending a fortune. Hit subscribe right now and let us get into all 3 of these together. Tap subscribe and the bell so you never miss a video. New tips every single week made specifically for you. Now let us go. Here is the framework for understanding why these 3 things age women over 60 so consistently. A color or style ages a mature woman through one of 3 mechanisms. The first is face draining, where the color or fabric removes warmth and luminosity from the complexion, making the skin look flatter and more tired than it genuinely is. The second is visual weight adding, where the style creates a heavier, larger silhouette than the body beneath it actually has, adding bulk and compression where the eye needs lightness and definition. The third is era association, where the combination carries such a strong connection to a specific period of fashion history that it timestamps the woman wearing it in a decade that has passed rather than in the present. Every combination on today's list works through one or more of these 3 mechanisms. And for every one, the alternative is immediate, affordable, and genuinely transformative. 3 combinations. Let us go through each one completely. Combination 1. Very pale, washed-out colors worn head to toe with no richness anywhere. The first combination is not about a single piece of clothing or a single color choice. It is about an entire palette approach that many women over 60 have drifted into without ever making a deliberate decision to be there. The completely muted, completely pale, completely washed-out wardrobe, where every piece is dusty powder blue, faded sage, pale gray beige, washed-out lavender, or any variation of these colors that has had all its warmth and saturation removed until it sits somewhere between a color and the absence of one. This palette feels safe. It feels quiet and refined. It feels like the appropriate choice for a woman at this stage of life who does not want to stand out too dramatically or make too bold a statement with her clothing. And this is precisely why it is aging so consistently and so powerfully. Because a completely muted, completely pale palette near the face does something very specific to a mature complexion. It removes the one thing the complexion already has less of than it did at 40, which is warmth. As skin matures, it naturally loses some of its own warmth and luminosity. The underlying warmth that made the complexion glow at 35 is quieter at 60. It is still there, but it is quieter. And when a very pale, washed-out color is placed directly against a complexion that is already working harder to project warmth, the color does not complement that warmth. Competes with it. It asks the complexion to provide all the color and all the vitality in the composition on its own. And the complexion, not quite as loud as it once was, simply cannot. The result is a face that looks paler, more flat, and significantly more tired than it genuinely is, while the woman wearing these colors wonders why she always seems to look slightly less vibrant in photos than she feels in real life. The alternative is not to abandon neutrals entirely, because neutrals are genuinely beautiful and genuinely versatile, and there is no reason to remove them from the wardrobe. The alternative is richness, deep warmth, saturation, not brightness, not neon, not the loudest version of a color, but the deepest, most richly alive version of the colors you already love. Deep teal rather than washed powder blue, warm burgundy rather than dusty rose, forest green rather than faded sage, rich warm ivory rather than flat cool gray beige. These colors have the same quiet sophistication as their muted counterparts, but they reflect warmth upward onto the complexion, rather than draining it. They make the face look warmer, the eyes look brighter, and the skin look more alive than any pale alternative ever can. The woman wearing them does not look like she is trying harder. She looks like she simply understands what works. Combination 2. Very heavy, stiff fabric in dark colors creating a solid block of weight. The second combination is about fabric and color working together to create an effect that neither would produce quite as powerfully alone. Very heavy, very stiff fabric, structured to the point of rigidity, worn in a single dark solid color from neckline to hem or neckline to ankle, with no variation in texture, no lightness at the face, and no movement anywhere in the silhouette. This combination is chosen, again, for completely understandable reasons. Dark colors are supposed to be slimming. Heavy fabrics are supposed to feel substantial and quality adjacent. The combination of both feels like a sophisticated, figure-conscious choice. And it ages consistently through both the visual weight mechanism and the face-draining mechanism simultaneously. The stiff, heavy fabric creates a silhouette that holds itself away from the body, rather than skimming it. It adds structural volume that reads as physical bulk, making the body inside the clothing appear significantly heavier and more compressed than it actually is. The eye reads the size of the garment rather than the size of the person inside it, and the garment is always larger than the person. Additionally, a very dark color from neckline to hem creates a visual tunnel effect, where the face sits at the top of a very dark column and has no warm, light element anywhere near it to lift or frame the complexion. The darkness at the neckline creates a harsh contrast against the mature face that emphasizes shadows and depth in the skin, rather than softening them. The alternative is not to abandon dark colors or structured garments. It is to pair them differently and choose fabrics that behave differently. A dark trouser in a fluid fabric rather than a stiff one. A rich dark blazer worn open over a lighter, warmer colored top so the dark exterior creates vertical lines without the face sitting in a dark tunnel. A structured piece worn as one element of the outfit rather than the entire outfit. The principle is simple. Heavy and stiff as a single solid block ages. Heavy and stiff as one element within a varied, lighter composition is sophisticated and powerful. 2 combinations covered and the most important one still to come. If this is already changing how you see your wardrobe, please take a moment to hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more women over 60 who deserve to understand exactly this. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these first 2 combinations you recognized in your own wardrobe. I read every single comment. Share this with a friend who you know is wearing one of these without realizing what it is doing. Now let us finish with the third combination, the one that surprises almost everyone. Combination 3. Safe gray or beige with shapeless modest styles. Here it is. Combination number 3. The one that was described at the beginning as the recommendation that comes from well-meaning friends, cautious stylists, and decades of fashion advice directed at older women. The complete pairing of gray or beige as the dominant color with shapeless, deliberately modest, very loose, very covered, very unstructured clothing styles. This combination is the physical embodiment of the phrase dressing your age, in its most limiting and most damaging interpretation. Gray tones and beige tones feel neutral, inoffensive, and timeless. Loose, modest, shapeless styles feel comfortable, practical, and appropriate. Together they feel like the responsible choice. And together they create the most powerful aging combination available in any wardrobe, through all 3 mechanisms simultaneously. The gray and beige drain warmth from the complexion in the specific way described in combination 1. Gray sits cool and flat against warm skin tones, removing the warmth rather than reflecting it. Beige creates a visual blending between clothing and skin that makes the overall appearance seem like one undifferentiated, low-contrast composition where neither the clothing nor the person inside it stands out with clarity or definition. The shapeless, very loose, very covered styles add visual weight in the specific way described in combination 2. Fabric hanging freely from the body in every direction creates the impression of more volume than the body beneath actually has. And when that fabric is in gray or beige, the weight and the draining are working together in the same direction. And the combination itself carries era association. The shapeless, fully covered silhouette in quiet muted neutrals is the single strongest visual signature of a woman who has accepted age as a limiting force, rather than a woman who is actively and confidently engaging with her own appearance. The brain reads it immediately as defeat rather than as discretion, as stopped caring rather than as restrained sophistication. The alternative to this combination is not dramatic or expensive. It is two very specific changes applied together. First, introduce one rich warm color somewhere near the face in every single outfit, whether that is in the neckline area through a blouse, a scarf, a cardigan, or a layered piece. And second, ensure that at least one element of every outfit follows the body's line at a flattering distance rather than hanging completely free of it. Neither change requires a new wardrobe. The gray trouser stays. The beige jacket stays. One fitted layer underneath the jacket brings the body back into the composition. One rich warm colored scarf at the neck brings warmth back to the face. These two additions transform the most aging combination in the wardrobe into something genuinely sophisticated and genuinely flattering. Because the truth about dressing after 60 is not that the colors or the styles need to be loud or dramatic or trend-driven to create a younger, more vibrant impression. They simply need to be on your side, working with you rather than against you, reflecting warmth rather than draining it, creating shape rather than hiding it, and belonging to right now rather than to a decade that has passed. 3 combinations. 3 quiet aging mechanisms made visible for the first time. The pale washed-out palette worn head to toe replaced by the rich, warm, deeply saturated version of the same colors that reflect vitality upward onto the complexion, rather than draining it. The heavy stiff dark block replaced by fluid dark fabric, used as one element within a varied composition with lightness near the face. And the gray and beige with shapeless modest styles replaced by the same neutral base enriched with one warm color near the face and one fitted element that allows the body to exist within the outfit, rather than disappearing beneath it. 3 changes. All affordable. All immediate. All genuinely, visibly transformative. Subscribe to Ageless Glow if you have not already. Comment below and tell me which of these 3 combinations you are changing first and what you are replacing it with. Share this with a friend whose wardrobe you know could use exactly this guidance. And hit that like button before you go. Until next time, these 3 combinations were never the safe choice. They were the invisible choice. And now that you can see them clearly, you can choose something better every single morning.